It did pay off. Yeah, I agree. This the alarm went off and he's like, "This part's my job. I gotta do it.
This is my job. Oh my gosh, we better get to it." Like he was like, "Now my time has come."
Yeah. He's like, "I don't care about anything. It's not my job. My job, I will die for."
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Steam Powered Movies. I am your host, Mike, and I'm here with my co-hosts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dana Fraedrich. I'm a steampunk and fantasy author. This is going to be really interesting because we're talking about a kind of steampunk-ish movie/book. I always like it when we talk about books.
Yeah. This one is based on a book.
Yeah. I feel like we're jumping in too fast, though. Mike,
No.
how are you? Let's ease up.
Okay.
Let's go slow.
Okay, I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I got a good night's sleep last night.
Uh-huh.
I've been chilling. We got to hang out, watch a movie. So it's good. How about you?
I'm great. I've got a book coming out in a month.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, on April 7th, folks. Interior Design for Intergalactic Travelers is coming out.
Yeah.
It is a Saturday morning sci-fi romp. It is very funny and very silly and just a good time.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Everywhere you buy fine books. And also unfine books. Wherever you buy books.
All kinds of books.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things you got going on.
Yeah.
This month in March on the 13th and 14th in Huntsville, Alabama, you're going to be at the Huntsville Comic Convention at Low Mill.
Oh, one of my favorite venues in the whole country.
So if anyone listening is near Huntsville, Alabama, March 13th and 14th, just come on by. Say hi to Dana.
Yeah.
Check out all the cool stuff in the cool building.
It's 11 to 7 every single day. There's a meadery. There's a distillery. There's a coffee shop. It's a great place.
What else do you need?
Honestly. Yeah. I need someone to go get me tipples for the afternoon is what I need.
Okay. Yeah. So someone do that. Now. No, wait, not now. During the convention.
Yeah. You'll be waiting like a little while.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
There's a meeting time.
Sure.
So tonight we watched City of Ember, a 2008 film that had a few recognizable faces in it.
Mm-hmm.
It had Bill Murray.
Of course, we love him.
Tim Robbins.
Uh-huh.
Toby Jones usually plays like an English spy of some kind.
Yeah.
Or bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then a future household name, Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
As the lead female character.
Did you practice saying her name?
I've heard it a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I've heard her do a whole bit on how it's pronounced. Completely forgot all of it. So it's Saoirse?
That's how I've heard it.
Okay.
Or Saoirse.
Okay.
Along those lines. Don't quote me on it. She's not my best friend or anything. But we haven't met.
That's right.
So this is all third, fourth hand knowledge. But anyway, they were all in this movie, City of Ember, based on a book series that came out
in 2004. I'm sort of fascinated by this because City of Ember was kind of like right on the cusp of like as we were getting into tons of YA dystopia. So it actually predated The Hunger Games, which came out in 2010. I'm talking about the book specifically, not the films.
Sure.
And then Divergent, which came out in 2014.
Yep.
So, like I said, this was like right on like that front brigade of YA dystopia. It had a huge moment back in the early aughts.
Yeah, I wonder, because I don't know if you have much experience with this, but this reminded me of Fallout a lot.
Oh,
like
I've not actually.
Setting.
I've not played Fallout, nor have I seen it. So tell me more.
I watched the TV series.
Yeah.
Season 2 is out now, and I'm catching up on that. But the first video game came out in 1997, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that long ago either.
Uh-huh.
So it's apparently like a really old video game series. I mean, really old. Not as old as me, but it came out in 97. Just like a lot of stuff in common. With basically, the Earth is going to crap. Some people built underground shelters and locked some people in there and told them the outside was bad. And here's some stuff, and it kind of breaks, and some people get curious if there's something outside. That's kind of the vibes.
Isn't that show Silo also kind of predicated on this?
I also wrote that down.
Uh-huh.
That's a book series that started in 2011.
Oh, okay. Same kind of area.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I'm telling you, there was a glut of fiction. I don't know if Silo was specifically YA.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but yeah, and then the TV series came out, the first season a few years ago.
Okay.
There's been 2 seasons of that, which I enjoy that. I think it's good.
I think The Village, M. Night Shyamalan's, also came out in sort of this era.
Yeah.
Because I remember going to see that in theaters with you.
Yes, we saw that together in the theaters when we were in high school, probably, maybe just after. No, after.
No, I think we were out of high school then.
Yeah, I don't know. Time all blends together. It's weird. But yeah, like a lot of this kind of dystopian underground even was like a theme, I guess.
Well, and I'm going to extend a little bit beyond that even and say microcosms. So all of these tend to take place because I talk a lot about like nothing happens in a vacuum, except the folks who wrote all these different stories created a vacuum for everything to happen in, which I think is really interesting. The movie Encanto did this as well, where it's just this little village that is separated from the rest of the world, and it kind of functions unto itself.
Yeah, they sequester themselves away from the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like the people that grew up in it don't know anything outside. They just are taught that it's scary and to not question any authority or any rules. Just follow the rules. Don't look behind these doors. Don't look at like this stuff over here in the generator room that could fix everything that's going wrong. Nope, don't look at that. I do
think it's really interesting when people write stories like this. And I think it's totally valid to write inside a microcosm. You do get to play a lot more because it is so isolated and controlled. But I do think you're upping your difficulty settings, which I do think you should do as any kind of creator. You should challenge yourself when you take it outside of the microcosm.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find this type of writing kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it is interesting. And the way this movie started, I was expecting the box to be more of a MacGuffin when it first got brought in, but then they told like the whole 200 years was like, oh, 200 years goes by. That's the whole intro.
Yeah, and that's how the book is too. Full disclosure, y'all, I did not actually read the book. I think I meant to beforehand, and then I forgot we were doing this film.
I also didn't tell you, but okay.
Well, no, I think you said it to me like once. I think like we were having a chat, and I was like, what are we doing? And you're like, City of Ember. I was like, okay, cool. I should read that book, and then completely forgot. But like I read the Spark Notes, like the full book summary really quick before we started watching the film.
Okay.
And it actually does stick to the book pretty well. Like in the book, you start in the past, kind of when the City of Ember is being established. You see the builders, you hear their plan, and they say 200 years. And in the book, it's explained it's been like about 241. So we're a generation or two after the box was supposed to have been opened. And I do think it's really interesting that the author of the book, Jean Duproux, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this.
I've heard it both ways.
I do think it's interesting that she has gone beyond kind of the limits of, I guess, the box's intended timeline, which does put strain on the whole system. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I guess it helps explain why things are breaking down and things aren't working right, and they're running out of the food supply because it was never planned for them to be down there for so long.
But are they running out, Mike? Or is it just corruption as usual?
Yeah, also a healthy dose of that. Just got to make the leaders the bad guys.
I mean, all the people with the wealth and the power checks out. Yeah.
I mean,
still consistent.
Yeah. This film, I think, suffers a bit from what I think a lot of films that are based on books that create entirely new worlds
can I guess?
Suffers from.
Can I guess?
Sure.
I'm going to guess that you are going to talk about the sort of telling you exposition, the as you know Bob moments.
Okay, that's part of it.
Okay,
yeah, it's part of it, but it's also just that there's so much to set up that there's not really time to give many things their due to really make them like rich and important seeming. And so it's just like a lot of surface level, like the large animals.
I actually have notes on this. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, like we just see like first we see a big moth and like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then all we ever see again is like a large mole rat. And
excuse me, it is a star-nosed mole, sir. You can tell.
I'm sorry. I apologize to all the moles listening. My bad.
The mole community is going to be up in arms. Just wait. Just wait until their emails start coming in.
Up in short, stubby arms.
Hey, they got powerful claws. You don't want to mess with them.
This is true. Yeah, but then there's like not an explanation. They're kind of just a little bit there. They're not fully part of the story or the background. It's just like little touch, you know.
I do find this piece of the world building really interesting because, as with any time you create your own world, you have to know how people get food. This is like one of the core things that you have to know, even if it like you never really explain it, like you sort of just see it through how the characters interact with the world.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that, okay, so we have giant moles.
Sure.
We have giant beetles. One assumes in the
we
time...
don't see a giant beetle. We just see
see the mandible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
And the dad character is like, when the son asks him, like, how'd they get so big? He's like, don't worry about it.
Kind of. Like, so in the summary I read, it didn't mention any of these things. I assume radiation. Maybe there was some kind of nuclear war.
Maybe.
That's just my assumption. Like this is how Godzilla got big, radiation, nuclear weapons. It makes big animals.
Sure. I would buy that if they had like slipped it in there.
Uh-huh.
Sure. But I guess we just got to imagine a reason.
I mean, we talked about the end of the world. I assume nuclear holocaust was part of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so we have giant moles. We have giant beetles. One assumes that it's not just 241 years later that this is the first time we're seeing them. I assume we're aware of them beforehand. So like, why are we not hunting them? Which I realize like it's illegal to go beyond like the bounds of the city, but this is a major food source. And this is really interesting as far as world building in like, when the society is so advanced, it kind of forgets how we used to do things historically, like hunting, like using fire.
Right. And then there's a thing, they say you can't go outside the bounds of the city. To where? But like it's all underground. Is there like tunnels or something? Like what is outside the city and how do you get there? Like I didn't understand that piece of it because I got the idea this was like a fully enclosed bubble. Kind of situation, but then they talk about like, oh, somebody went outside the limits, like where? And then the whole thing is how do you escape? I mean, I guess that guy went outside the city. Is that not really outside the city, or is that just like the outskirts where you don't go because that's too close to out? I don't know. So
yeah, I was trying to think about that because I mean, from the context of the film, it's just full dark. You're just underground, so it's just like dead dark.
Except. There's an exception, but go ahead. Yeah.
You don't have any electricity out there. So if you're not using fire, you don't have any light source. I assume that as this is dystopian, it's just a measure to control people. Like, you're not allowed to do this because we say so, because we want to keep you where we can see you. And this is just a way to control.
So, but is it maybe not a man-made dug cave? Is it like a cave system and they've picked out this one little part to build their city and have all the lights at the generator? So like you could go outside, but it's just dangerous because there's no lights.
And there's apparently giant critters.
Right. Giant critters.
I don't know. That is not clear at all. Like, you know, they might be like, oh, it's not safe because of the aforementioned giant star-nosed moles and giant beetles and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. But like I said, with dystopian type things, usually people are confined to the area. I do it in my books. They did it in the Hunger Games. People are not supposed to go out because then you can't control people if they're just allowed to come and go as they please. Yeah, like you said, the thing about forgetting fire, they had to put how to light the matches on instructions at the end. Right. And this is just another part of the world building of like, so we've just completely eschewed fire. like mankind's oldest, quite possibly oldest invention.
Which is crazy.
It's probably older than writing, but still, it is a technology that has gotten us through way more of history than it has not gotten us through.
Yeah, and I think it just shows that you've had like 200 years of very uncurious people that they're like, oh, these tools are the only things that exist.
Right.
There's nothing else. And like on the scale of things, like 200 years isn't that long for memory of these things to be completely forgotten. Like that's like you could have people's great grandparents be alive when they went underground.
And that's the other thing is that I guess we're not using oral tradition.
Maybe great great grandparents, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, given the healthcare system that I'm seeing in the film, I'm guessing great great grandparents still aren't around.
Yeah. No, they're probably not around.
But yeah, like we're not using oral traditions. So
they're not writing anything down or not writing very many things down, it seems like.
And now, granted, resources are slim. And I've seen other stories that kind of mention that like when you have not a lot of resources or at least limited resources, you don't write everything down. But again, that's why we have oral traditions. That's how other peoples throughout the world kept their history alive for eons and eons.
Yeah, so there's like the thing about, I think the only thing we saw written down was the big book. There was the note inside the box.
Yeah.
And then
half the key, and then the little pieces of paper that gave your jobs. Yes.
Those were written down.
I have a note about that. What a bonkers system for assigning work roles. Is this how the mayor is chosen? Just a name out of a bag?
I don't know. Yeah, I wrote that down. It's a really bad resource allocation. Like in a different context where the ruling of a place is very authoritarian. I could see that as a system of like fully repressing any kind of individualism, any kind of expressing of who you are. Like your natural talents and abilities and thoughts don't matter. You're just a cog in the machine. We will assign you a job and you will do that job, and you write your name on your helmet in case you drown. We can tell who you were. But this doesn't really set up as that scary.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that part, it just comes across as silly. It's like, well, why wouldn't you have the girl be the messenger who really wanted to be one and would be awesome at it because she's fast and runs everywhere? Or the kid who's good with electricity, you know? It just comes across as being really poor resource allocation.
And also they can just trade. Like you can just trade your job with somebody. So like there aren't repercussions for not sticking with what you pulled. Yeah,
so like it's a really loose system. So it's not, like that. It comes across as even less authoritarian because it's like you'll draw a thing from the hat and then whatever, you can trade it. I don't care.
Yeah, like, tradesies is fine. There's probably like unspoken rules about it. Like you can't take someone's paper, but you can trade it if it's willingly given. I don't know.
You can show up late without signing in and still get your job.
It does strike me that there's only at max a couple hundred people in the city of Ember. So there's not a lot of oversight. They're just like, there were like 12 people in that graduating class.
Yeah.
They don't have that many people.
Yeah, super tiny. Makes you wonder, like, is this the only bit of humanity left, or is there like a lot other stuff happening on the rest of the planet?
Good news. There are 3 more books after this one.
Oh, my goodness.
So there's loads more to discover. I have no idea what happens in the rest of them.
Maybe like Africa had a bunker or something.
I mean, we know there's one in Greenland.
Yeah.
We also assume that this bunker's in America because everyone has American accents.
Sure. Or Europe or something. I don't know.
But nobody has English accents because everyone in Europe has an English accent. I don't know if you've watched films, but that is how that works.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're correct. Yeah, my bad.
So we are definitely in America. The Europeans don't have American accents. They have English accents.
Yeah.
So, 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah. And the other thing about the jobs on the piece of paper, you were talking about, it's short resources, but it's another one of those things that on its own, in the context given, seems kind of silly without a little bit further explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like one of those things that's like, okay, maybe in the book they fleshed this out more.
I imagine they probably did.
But in the movie, you kind of have to just stick it in because that's how it was.
Mm-hmm.
You have the pieces of paper for the job thing. Or, you have all messages are just memorized and carried from one place to another. Even if you're like flirting with someone, you have to tell that flirty message to a 15-year-old.
Yep.
Who will then run across town and tell it to your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
This is actually something I really like because messengering is very clearly a really important job.
Mm-hmm.
So I do actually really like that. And also,
but you're still going to use it for your like secret message to the mayor about your illicit shipments.
Yeah. Again, we don't write anything down because limited resources. So yeah, I guess so.
Again, it comes across as silly.
It wasn't code, I guess. Now these are listed as children's books. I should also say, like they're YA. Okay, so FYI, just a little bit behind the scenes and how the book world works. YA and children's, especially middle grade, have a lot of crossover. I mean, my books are also just like so many others listed under both children's and teen. Mm-hmm. So, I mean. It's meant for a younger audience.
Right.
So there is that.
Sure.
So I have a question also about this world.
Okay.
How did they decide on a language for the note? Because if you think about it, like language changes really quickly. If you think about Shakespearean English, it's so different than how we talk today. And that was only what, 4-ish, 100 years ago?
Yeah. But only 200 years is... not that bad, I don't think.
So think about like the 1700s. Think about, I was about to say books that you've read that were written in the 1700s, and I realized I'm not sure you've read any books that were.
Yeah,
I have, though. And I can tell you their way of speaking is just very different.
When was Great Expectations written?
I have no idea.
Okay. Or like Tale of Two Cities.
Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, I believe, was 19th century.
Okay. Well,
so
that's
we're
probably the
talking
oldest
Victorian
book
era.
I've written.
Okay. So it's a little bit.
Did I say written? That's the oldest book I've read.
Yeah. I wrote 8 Great Expectations and A Tale of Two Cities. Me, Mike Fraedrich. Don't pay attention to this Charles Dickens guy. That guy's a fraud.
Right.
So yeah, there's just something random that I thought about that I thought was interesting. But yeah, I will say I can tell that the systems of the city were not developed by the builders. The builders only did like the construction and the instructions for getting out. Mm-hmm. Clearly, they did not set up the rest of the city's kind of systems because they were very concise and clear in their instructions.
Yeah.
The rest of the systems or less so.
Or like maybe maintenance of the generator or something like that. Could have written that in.
Yeah. Like, where's the big book on that?
Yeah.
So,
just the one set of instructions in the automatically locking and unlocking box that they gave to the mayor.
Yeah, totally.
They just trusted the mayor. They trusted the mayor would be a good guy forever.
Yeah. Then I wrote down like only one person. Like, do we not have redundancy?
No, I guess not.
So our mayor, Bill Murray, he knew about the box. But I don't think he knew what was in it.
No.
Because it didn't open for any of the mayors. Like, I do think that knowledge was passed down. Mm-hmm. So I think, obviously also from the portraits, he knew the box was important, but I don't think the knowledge of what it was got passed down to him. And again, redundancy in our systems, people.
Yeah, but he also kind of gave the vibe of like maybe he did know what it was and he didn't want it to be discovered because he wanted to keep being the king of this underground town with all the food where the blackouts are happening all the time.
Oh, yeah, no. Clearly he's just like in it for himself and the power. Very clearly.
But also stupid. You're captain of a sinking ship.
Yeah.
You should want to get out too.
Yeah. But Mike, we know from real life experience that these people who are holding on to power do not make long-sighted decisions. It's all short-sighted.
Yeah, they do tend towards that. I will say, though, I'm glad that the mayor was Bill Murray because he's just funny.
He's great. He's fantastic.
Like, even when he's being, like, a little bit menacing and a bad guy, he's just, like, funny. Like, as soon as he was on screen, I was just kind of giggling to myself, like, yeah, he's funny.
No, he really is. Yeah, he just has such a good presence.
Just the way he was walking, it's like, yeah, that's a funny walk. I don't know how he does it. And like one scene where he just like randomly like, like rubs that child's hair or something. Just like that seems like a thing he just randomly did.
Yeah, that felt very ad lib, but well planned ad lib.
Yeah, it just did enough silly little things to add some lightheartedness, which I appreciated.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do love a microcosm. I also love when we have sort of an Isambard Kingdom Brunel type character. Which
what now?
Sorry.
Dana just said a bunch of name things that I don't understand.
Isambard Kingdom Brunel. He was...
You can just keep saying the made up words. I won't understand.
Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
I know kingdom.
Okay, let's move on. So he is one of history's greatest engineers. So he lived in like the first half of the 19th century, and he designed these incredible structures and inventions. Like he designed the Great Western Railway in the UK, and he actually wanted to connect it to North America, like across the ocean. And he designed these ships that were supposed to be able to kind of accomplish that. They actually kind of became these big metal steamships.
Okay.
And at the time, he built the biggest ship that had ever been constructed.
Okay.
So he was
cool.
he was a genius. And he's one of those figures in history that, like, if he had lived longer, if he had gotten to do even more, I wonder what would have happened. He's just sort of like this massive, amazing legend.
Maybe he would have built an underground city with like a water-powered escape route boat system.
That's what I mean. Like, I love that, like, the builders of the city of Ember, like, kind of had this Isambard Kingdom Brunel energy and intelligence. This is so fun.
It was very Rube Goldberg-y, how to get out of the city.
Oh, it very much was. Yeah, like A leads to B, leads to C, and it has to follow these. I didn't see a lot of fail-safes. Like, it all just happens perfectly, or it doesn't happen at all.
Right. Yeah. You have to have all the pieces. You couldn't just have a big gate with a clock on it that says open at this time. That'd be too easy.
Right.
You have to make it elaborate and not redundant, and so you can lose it and have a story.
Again, the redundancy. Why?
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about like the world building.
Yes,
and,
I love
like,
it.
How I kind of thought that'd be a lot of what we talk about, because that's like the interesting stuff to dig into here.
Sure, yeah.
And I do think some of it is interesting. I think some of it I would have liked it to make more sense in the context of the movie. But what about the story? What do you think of the story?
Okay, so story generally, and again, I don't know what happens in books 2, 3, and 4.
Sure.
I assume they eventually lead everybody out and start a new civilization or something. But at the end of this film, it did kind of give me Day After Tomorrow vibes. Because, like, we
now what?
made it out. Great. Like, there are giant animals. We have no idea of how to survive out here, where you do need fire and hunting and these skills that apparently no one has.
We are 2 teenagers and a toddler.
Yeah. I will say
it's gonna go great.
The toddler thing annoyed me.
Yeah.
It just, like, this was something else that a lot of the books from this time had. We had like a sort of like MacGuffin younger sibling that's made things happen.
Yeah. Like sometimes the child was like, oh, we have to. It was like a problem. We have to go back and get, my sister, or, oh, she's wandering off. But then at random bits, she was like solving the puzzles for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, what about like the early parts and like the getting going of the main plot? Like, did you have any thoughts on any of that, or?
I mean,
good, bad, or different?
It was pretty solid. Like, it was a good like story. The pacing was good. I think like the kind of plot vehicles worked well. Nothing felt super sweaty to me anyway.
Really?
I don't think so. Oh, do you disagree?
I did, yeah. I thought there were several points that were a bit sweaty, but
Tell me more.
Especially the thing near the very beginning. Well, just like the whole finding of the box.
Sure.
It was kind of like, oh, it had been sitting in the closet forever, and we just randomly found it this one day because the baby got into it. And then the baby happened to eat the piece of it that had the words on it. And not only that, she recovered like most of it. And then like I don't know, a day later, the baby's coughing because a piece of it was still caught in the baby's mouth that you could easily get out? Come on.
Okay, so
Come on.
most of that is actually in the book.
Okay.
I don't say,
doubt it, but it's super sweaty.
The cough thing, I think, was a little bit. So there was apparently also like a sickness going around in the book.
Okay.
That is kind of adding to the stress on the city, in addition to like the blackouts and the fact that there's starting to be food shortages.
Right.
And so I guess it was kind of a nod to that.
But like a fake out to a thing that was never set up.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
But yeah, that whole thing felt like so incredibly like unnecessarily complicated. I think they could have just had them find the note in the box, and then the struggle is knowing what to do with it or getting people to go along with them instead of, oh, the baby ate part of the homework. So, like,
baby ate part of the homework.
Just kind of like unnecessary, obstacle kind of stuff.
Well, from what I read, getting everybody else to come out is kind of book 2. So I get that, because we have to leave some plot for the books that follow.
Right, but like the instructions were kind of riddle enough.
The instructions were, I don't think they were so much a riddle. They become a riddle when, a baby has eaten them or whatever, or tried to eat them. I don't hate it, to be honest.
I don't know.
Like, I think sometimes things work out. I think sometimes things do just happen. But obviously the protagonists also have to, in the end, make things happen and have to be the drivers of the story. It's not as fun when stuff is just happening to them. And I do think we got that from our 2 protagonists. Like, I do think they were driving things forward. They were investigating. They were being curious.
They were being curious, and they were like going into places and finding stuff. But I didn't feel like they really solved a lot. They would just like show up in a place and a thing would happen. Or they would show up in a place and be, oh, here's the thing we were looking for. I didn't really feel them putting the puzzle pieces together very much until like the very end, when it was the thing with the water level and the climbing the ladder with the baby on your back, because that's easy. And then,
she's small.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I don't know. You carry a 4-year-old on your back up a huge ladder.
I have, not very often. I don't really enjoy spending time in the company of children, but I have done it. I think it's fine. Like, I don't think they overdid that, because I think curiosity is a big part of discovery. And I do think they were asking those questions. They were like going down those tunnels, looking into stuff that, that they knew they shouldn't be looking into. So I'm okay with it.
It wasn't the worst I've seen, but it was a bit, things just happened for me.
Sure.
And do you want to know when I knew what the MacGuffin of the film was going to be?
When?
When the dad hands the boy Dune his little like multi-tool thing, and he's like, "What's this for?" And the dad's like, "You'll figure it out."
That I will say that did bother me, because I'm like, is it a test? Are you testing him? Why not just tell your son?
Unnecessarily cryptic.
Is it because dads can't express, I don't know, stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, the relationship there was like a really weird vibe.
Do you think that was just Tim Robbins, though? Because Tim Robbins sometimes has a weird vibe.
Okay, this is true. This is fair. But I do think, as written, it was a really weird vibe, because the dad was like, I make all these cool machines and stuff. And the kid was like, I want to be in the electrical room because I think I can fix the generator somehow. Maybe just teenage hubris. And he's like, I could fix it.
I don't know if you know this, Mike. Teenagers know everything.
Okay. Oh,
they know everything.
I forgot. It's been a while since I was a teenager.
That's fair.
So I forgot.
I knew everything when I was a teenager.
I forgot that I knew everything.
Yeah, it's true.
I've just forgotten so much.
You lose it as you get older.
Yeah. So he wanted to be an electrical worker, but he also seemed like not at all interested in his dad's gadgets. And his dad was like doing stuff. He was like, yeah, whatever, Dad, I'm out of here.
Mike, again, he's a teenager. Your parents are not cool.
I know, but then he like still like was into electronics. But then the other thing was clearly the reveal at the end was that the dad was part of like the first uprising, which is always a thing in these novels too, these stories of like an underground thing. There's always an early uprising that gets smashed down and then no one talks about it.
Although this was hardly an uprising.
Yeah.
A couple of people tried to get out.
Right.
It went badly. Nothing happened except one person died.
So yeah, not nothing, but yeah.
Sure. Okay, fair. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he was part of the uprising. Didn't want to talk about it. But then he was sort of encouraging his son by like giving him the tool, but then being like, "Don't question the authorities, my boy." But then at the end, helped him escape to be able to do his escape thing.
He was already in trouble. Like, there is not much other option than escape at that point.
Yeah.
Although I do feel like the Americanness of this story is showing. So we see the generator. It is held together with duct tape and hope and not much else.
I mean, what else do you need, right?
Right. But there are at least not that we saw, there are no regulations on energy usage. There's no, they had a lights out, which obviously is some kind of a curfew.
Right.
Again, control. Curfews are control. But there's no, as far as we can tell, limitations on each household and how much you're allowed to be using and how much strain you're putting on this generator. It's very American.
Yeah. I mean, again, it seemed like it was a small place. Not a lot of people.
But still, clearly your generator is struggling.
Yeah.
Maybe go easy on it.
I don't know if the generator was struggling with the load as much as just keeping going in general. It was just kind of dying entirely. But when it's running, it had enough capacity.
It was on fire.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was on fire.
It was fully on fire.
Pretty sure that's not what generators are supposed to do.
No, I think the instruction manual says if your generator is on fire, you've done something wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe on page 7 or something. Some people don't get that far.
That's the other thing that's so funny about this film is you have to read these instructions line by line and follow every single one. You cannot skim them. You cannot assume you know what's coming. You can tell that engineers wrote this because they expect people to read every single line.
And yet nothing else was written down anywhere else as far as instructions.
I know.
You learned your trade from an old guy who falls asleep every 5 minutes.
But hey, Saul doesn't do anything that's not his job. But when it is his job, he is there.
Right.
That actually was a really good gag that I liked.
It was
That
funny.
paid off.
It did pay off. Yeah, I agree. This the alarm went off and he's like, "This part's my job. I gotta do it.
This is my job. Oh my gosh, we better get to it." He was like, "Now my time has come."
Yeah. He's like, "I don't care about anything. It's not my job. My job, I will die for."
Yeah. I actually really liked that.
Yeah. He was great. There's a couple things at the end that logistically really fall down for me.
Okay, go on.
There's these little things peppered out throughout the film, I think, again, that don't hold up to scrutiny. And maybe it's trying to translate from book to movie.
Okay.
And having to think about 3D spaces and how things lay out and whatever.
Okay.
Two big things at the end. One, the story from the first time the tunnel was dug is that it flooded and that's how her dad died.
Sure.
So they get on the machine and go through the tunnel. It's completely dug. There's nothing blocking. They just get all the way through. Why did it not flood again?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
I expected them to have to dig through the last part or something, or there was a blockage. No, it's just open.
I was also confused by that. I don't think it's important to this. Well, I think it should be important to the larger story, but they didn't make it important to the larger story. I don't know. I almost got the vibe that they were somewhere else, they were in a different tunnel, but I don't know that part. I missed. Yeah. I either missed something or that part was not clear.
Yeah, again, that feels like a thing where they weren't thinking about the implications or how things are situated in 3D space. Another one at the very, very end that kind of, if you think about it for too long, breaks the entire story. The very, very end, they throw a rock with a note through a hole in the ceiling.
I also wrote that down.
There's a hole in the ceiling. You'd get rained on. You'd get sunlight. You would get all kinds of signs that there is an outside, and it's like there.
It's right up there. I mean, I know it's a small hole compared to like the size of the city.
Sure.
But
sure.
no,
Maybe.
But you would think that you'd be able to see up to it. Because I wrote that down. I was like, why doesn't the light reach?
Yeah.
Like at night, after like when all the lights are out, like, well, I guess at night it wouldn't, but like
the moon?
I feel like there would be something. You would be able to see something.
And water. Rain.
Right.
Water.
Yeah. It would drip down.
It would.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of breaks everything a bit to me.
I have questions.
Yeah. Again, the 3D space of this underground city, is it a bubble? Is it enclosed? Is it not quite enclosed? Is it only restricted by where they have the lights and where they tell people to go? Or is it like physically separated from the rest of everything? I have so many questions.
I can think of a situation where like the great grid work that's above the city that's holding up all of those lights, because you saw all the cords and the lights and the moths and everything. I can see how like maybe just the amount of mass you have for that grid work, maybe that kind of obscures your view up. But as you say, rain would come down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like we watched the moth went somewhere. Like it does.
Oh, I guess that was a clue in the beginning.
Yeah, it does prickle me a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but there is something, one more interesting thing that I want to mention, and this is sort of just culture in general. I think about this a lot when I'm developing my D&D games.
Sure.
So it's interesting how a phrase like "the builders will show us the way" changes context and distorts as people forget sort of the pieces of the original lore. Because again, like we're not keeping oral tradition and we're not writing anything down. So it's because in oral traditions, stories are told in a way that it maintains everything. Like your entire history is encompassed in these stories. And I feel like they're not using very good practices as far as like any kind of oral tradition or lore.
Yeah.
And so, but this is kind of how cults become major religions. Like you have like this small idea, it kind of gets distorted in a way. And then like the builders will show us the way kind of takes on this spiritual meaning. And I just find it really interesting culturally.
Yeah. But the builders didn't tell anyone that they put in the vault, hey, this is only for 200 years.
Right.
Like that's not like that should be thing number one in the oral tradition.
This is also another really good reason why free and easy access to information is so important. Like this is why we don't restrict information. This is why we don't ban books. This is why we love libraries and other free accesses to information.
Yeah.
This has been your PSA for the day. One last tiny little thing.
Okay.
I do kind of like that they've kind of reined in how powerful their whatever devices and gadgets they have are, because they can only go as far as the cords. I actually like that. I like this physical limitation.
Yeah, that was like could have been a fun little detail, I think, that was more played with. But yeah, I think it works.
Yeah, I do like it though, because I do think that so many things can become OP if you don't have like a physical limitation. So I think that was a neat little nugget for world building. I'm always thinking about world building. I love it.
Yes. And do you know what I'm thinking about?
You're thinking about ratings, Mike.
Yes, I'm thinking about rating this film.
Talk about ratings.
Yeah, we don't rate based on any kind of critical criteria that you would read in the New York Times or the Athletic. Wait, that's for sports, or the Atlantic. Yeah, so we use our own things, and we first rate it based on how steampunk is this movie. So Dana, on a scale of 1 to 5 steam engines, how steampunk is City of Ember,
okay,
and why?
I do think it came in quite late, but we did have the digging contraption, goggles, gears, wheels, and hydraulics.
Yep, the generator had a lot of steam come out of it too.
So late entry, but I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, and the gear thing for the boats.
Yeah.
3 out of 5, you think?
I think so.
I was thinking maybe a little more than that even.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, usually I'm the one who's more generous with these things.
Yeah, and then just like, you know, the challenging power structures vibes. And
oh,
stuff.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, the punk part was strong.
I think it's more of a 4.
Okay. I could be convinced to give it a 4.
All right. We give it a 4 out of 5 steam engines.
Yeah.
For how steampunk is City of Ember. But secondly, how much did you enjoy watching it, Dana? A scale of 1 to 5 gears.
Okay.
What was your enjoyment rating?
So, because I am who I am, I enjoy thinking. I enjoy really puzzling over world building and chewing over all the details. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 because it really made me think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It made me have a lot of questions, which I like questions. I like having to think about these things and kind of dissect them. So I'm, again, 4 out of 5.
Okay, cool. Again, I had some problems with some of the plot elements and the sweatiness of it. Some of the world building didn't make a ton of sense to me, but the main characters weren't annoying.
And can we just say there was no weird forced romance?
Oh, you're right.
I was so happy about that.
I didn't even notice
because it was so nice.
They were just friends.
Yeah. And that was all it needed to be.
Yeah, it was cool. And so I think it's like a 3.5.
Okay.
And that's just because I've seen this kind of thing done better. I think if you want this kind of capsule, the founders put us in this underground bunker type of thing, I think the TV series Fallout and Silo do it better.
Okay.
As far as filling out the world and giving some more reasonings, and there's more lore and oral tradition stuff involved in those, and there's more discovery of, oh, this is where things went wrong, and this is the new stuff that we've uncovered, and challenging the status quo kind of stuff. I think those programs do it better. Now they do have more time to work with, being TV series. They had to cram a lot of stuff into this film.
Yeah.
I think it's tough. It probably would have been better as a TV series, maybe a limited series, even at least 6 episodes or something.
That is so often the case where books, generally speaking, they're just told better in a limited series where you have probably 6 hours to tell the story instead of an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think that would have been better. But for what it is, I think it's pretty okay. And if I hadn't seen those other things first, I may have given this a higher rating.
Yeah.
But I think 3.5 is a little generous, but I'll give it that. Yeah, I had a good time.
Okay. Hey, can I say one more thing about oral tradition?
Sure.
So anybody out there who just wants to know how powerful oral tradition is, the shipwreck of the Terror, and I think the other ship was called the Erebus, but I can't remember. But anyway, the Terror for sure. Long story short, basically it sunk in the ice, and the native people around there told tales for generations of where is this thing? And then people came to try and find it. And the native people were like, it's over here. And they ignored the native people, and they ignored the native people, and they ignored the native people. And finally they listened to the native people, and they're like, it's exactly where the native people said it was. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Shocking.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just a fascinating thing. You guys should look it up.
And what is it called again?
The shipwreck was called the Terror.
Okay.
And it's up somewhere near the Arctic Circle.
All right then.
Yeah.
And if you want to start your own oral tradition, make it be the tradition of telling your friends about this podcast.
There you go. Way to tie it in, Mike. Nice. We call that word of mouth.
That's right. Tell your friends by word of mouth. Start an oral tradition. Or you know what? You can go online and tell people about us too. We're at Steam Powered Movies on Bluesky and Instagram. Go to steampoweredmovies.com for a full list of episodes and more information. Thank you so much for listening. Join us again next month for another new episode. But until then, okay, bye.
Bye, y'all.